Mr. Chancellor, Mr. President, honored guests, faculty, students, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dennis Bracken, and I'm the rector of St. Paul's College here at the University of Manitoba, and I'm proud to be reading the citation for this ceremony. The highest honor the Senate of a university can confer upon an individual is an honorary doctorate. At the University of Manitoba, the criteria include distinguished achievement in scholarship, the arts, or public service. Our honorary graduate this afternoon is Sister M. Cyril Mooney. A champion of the poor and disenfranchised, Sister Cyril Mooney is recognized for her commitment to education and her work to challenge the caste system in India. Sister Cyril belongs to the Institute of the Blessed Virgin Mary, better known as the Loreto Sisters. Arriving in India in 1956, she completed her Ph.D. in zoology at India's University of Lucknow. She taught at Loreto College, and then in 1979, she was named principal of Loreto Day School, Sealdah, in Kolkata, India. The school was founded as an exclusively upper-class private school for girls. That changed when Sister Cyril took the helm. The school opened itself to everyone of any caste, class, or religion. Now, of the 1,500 students, half come from families that pay full tuition fees that support the other half of the student body, which pays nothing and receives high-quality education, medicine, food, books, and uniforms. Bringing these two groups together into a cohesive, cooperative student body was and remains a revolutionary act. Sister Cyril's initiatives extend further than this innovation. Through the Loreto School's Rainbow program, 250 girls, originally from the slums and streets, now live on the school's flat roof, allowing them to avoid the struggles of slum life in order to focus on learning. Her school's staff and resources have built 5 other schools in Calcutta slums, providing access to the same high-quality education for an additional 6,500 students. Going further, Sister Cyril created the Barefoot Teachers Program, which has trained 7,000 teachers who have reached 350,000 children in the city who otherwise would have no access to education. This model of education she developed is now being adopted by the state system of India. Sister Cyril and her staff have also trained teachers throughout Calcutta in an innovative human rights education program. Recognized as an education innovator, Sister Cyril received the UNESCO's NOMA Award in 1994 for spreading literacy. In 2007, the President of India honored her with the Padma Shri Award, the government of India's 4th highest civilian honor, which she shares with another recipient, Mother Teresa. In 2010, Sister Cyril was granted an honorary doctorate in education from the University of Dublin Trinity College in Ireland. The following year, Monmouth University in New Jersey in the United States presented her with their Global Visionary Award for her work in India and for allowing its students to get involved in her program. For the past 6 years, University of Manitoba students from the Faculty of Education and St. Paul's College have also worked with Sister Cyril at her school through an intensive field study program. Sister Cyril is recognized today for transforming the lives of thousands of others in India with her innovative approaches to education. Mr. Chancellor, it is an honor for me to ask you on behalf of the Senate of the University of Manitoba that you confer upon Sister Cyril Mooney the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Chancellor of this university, I admit you to the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges thereto appertaining. Congratulations.
Mr. Chancellor, Mr. President, honoured guests, faculty, students, and ladies and gentlemen. I feel as if I have come home. Listening to what has been said already, especially by the President, listening to all the wonderful values and attributes that are expected of you as students, I really feel that this is what I have been doing and wanting to do for many, many years. Devise an education system which moves us out beyond the narrow, two-dimensional academic work which happens in the classrooms into the real world around us, to look at issues and to understand the agony and the total frustration of those who are blocked out from a wonderful education system. You are lucky to be here in Canada, where your education system gives you equality. I've just come through the US, and while I don't like to make comparisons between two countries so close together, I couldn't help but be shocked by the fact that in their education system, it depends upon the local taxes. So if you belong to a very, very well-off area, your school is going to be a top-class posh school. Whereas if you belong to a very, very poor, deprived area, your school is going to be correspondingly poor and deprived. Now, no doubt, even the correspondingly poor and deprived, as compared to what we have in India, is far, far, far better. But at the same time, when it's compared to what other children of an equal nation, supposed to be equal, enjoy, it's not. So that's why I do congratulate you here in Canada to have such a wonderful system. And I come from a country where the system is anything but wonderful. We have 2 billion people in India. That's at the last count, but that's about 10 years ago. I think the way they propagate, I think they probably are 3 billion by now. However, if you want to picture 2 billion or 3 billion, put them outside across the road, 10 across the street, and march them past the gate. And even after 2 years, you will not have seen the last of the Indian people. That gives you a visual picture of how many we have. And in this system, we have an English medium elite school system which caters to well-off children. It's not supported by the government, so it has to be paid for. So if you're in the vicious cycle of affluence, that means that you will be going to a school where the numbers are roughly comparable, well, not quite comparable to here. I mean, here 30 is a huge number for people to teach. We're quite happy if we have as little as 50. But on the other hand, the vicious cycle of poverty means that you're not able to pay fees for such schools, so you go into the government system. The government system at the moment in West Bengal, we have 7 million children in our government system, packed into classrooms where you would not even put animals here in Canada, and sitting 150 of them in a place that might be just the size of this stage. So that gives you an idea of what we deal with. And in such a situation, what would I be doing as a Loreto sister, looking after a very nice English medium school, catering to the very best children, all with the very best values also, but none of whom are going to lift a finger to change the system because they are the beneficiaries. And that's why I seized the opportunity. I don't take any credit for this honor which has been given to me. I give the credit to my staff and my children. And I've received other honors, and always I put the honor back on them because I am merely a puller of strings, if you like, a puppeteer. I simply have ideas, and I encourage people to go ahead and do something about it. And finding myself in charge of a school in 1979, where I had 790 children, of whom 700 were from that well-off circle of affluence, and 90 from the vicious circle of poverty, I set out to readjust the system, to provide justice, not charity, justice. Every single child in the world has a right to a good education, has the right to develop to their best potential. And all of us who have been lucky enough to have been given this chance, there is an obligation on us, a duty, to reach out beyond our areas of comfort and to reach out to reach all those children who have been blocked out. And what's so wonderful here in Manitoba University is that I heard at lunchtime that there are a huge number of programs being done all over the city with the help of students like you who are helping these poorer children to move into better areas. And this is something wonderful. So in our school, our education system is no longer two-dimensional. It reaches out beyond itself. Children go out, they give up their monthly and weekly holiday to go out once a month out into the villages, where 150 children of ours, 1/4 of our secondary school, would be handling 3,500 village children in schools where there would be 150 children to one teacher. Then every week, daily, different classes have 2 periods during which they teach the street children, the kids who come off the street. We can have an 11-year-old ready for class 5 or 6 and not waste her time because already so much time has been stolen from her. Our children begin at the age of 11 or 12 to work with hidden domestic child labour, which is another dreadful scar on our social justice in India. Here, children as little as 6 years of age are sent off into other people's houses to work like little slaves, 12 hours a day, take whatever scraps are left over from the family's table and sleep on the kitchen floor. It's against the law, but who's to say anything? Because when people go there, the employer will only say, oh, she's only up on a visit from the village. Whereas the children, our children who live next door and are of the same social standing as their employers, know much better. And they go along and say, madam, little boy, little girl living here, please allow them out once a week for an hour to play with us. And they get them out and they find out what's wrong and are they well treated and so on. And those that we have found being ill-treated, we've simply taken them into our Rainbow Home, where we cater to children off the street within the school, and nobody has ever challenged me. I sit there waiting. Let's see, will the parents come? Let's see, will the employers come? Nobody comes, because they know very well in their guilty consciences what they're doing. So this is what I've tried to do over the years, reaching out to as many children as possible. And in the process, I hope, instead of delivering a two-dimensional education in our classrooms, where we would be educating from books, where we would be lecturing the children on what's good and what should be done, and creating in those more sensitive children a frustration, knowing there's so much injustice in place, knowing all about the issues, but not being provided any channel by which they can work out that zeal which is aroused in them when we talk to them. And that's why in our school, our children are filled with zeal. Zeal for the kingdom of God which is God's love in each one's heart. Zeal for the care to reach out to these children who are so neglected and so deprived. And that's why we have value education classes where they sit down and reflect on what they have observed. And we also have social justice classes. We have human rights, which we have managed now to spread into many, many schools. And where the children in the government schools are taking it up, they're taking to it like ducks to water, because they have been so deprived in the past of any form of value education. And these are the efforts that we make to bring people back into the whole circle of love, which is something which is preached in every single religion. All the great religions of the world all have the same central tenet, to love your neighbor as yourself. It may be expressed in different ways, but it's there. And for each of us here today, and for all the young students going out now to start their lives and to work in all the various, multifarious levels of career and position that they will hold in the future, I hope they will carry with them this one single message, and that is that you will love your neighbor as yourself and love them as God has first loved you and given you so many privileges. And I take this opportunity once again to thank all the people who are responsible for having me here with you, and to say a really wonderful thank you and a really wonderful God bless to every single person here. Thank you.